welcome back to the JustRP 3.1 server. It's been a little bit since we've been on the server, but I've wanted to make some more videos on it, and two, I've been meaning to make a video going over everything that happened since the 3.1 update, as well as what was in the 3.1 update. And today, that is what we're going to be doing. We're going to go over all of the added 3.1 features. We're also going to quickly show you guys some of the general changes made to the server during the big 3.1 update for it, and then of course just go into all of the big recently added features and talk about them a little bit, and of course show them off to you. So let's start off again. I'm going to be just putting some changes on screen now as we're kind of doing this little bit of an intro portion, so I can show you guys kind of these smaller changes that were made, because there was quite a lot. Of course, there's a whole new DOC system, so of course a lot of stuff for both cops as well as the DOC that was recently added was changed. They were given beanbag shotguns. They got some pretty cool other stuff over there. I believe they have basketball, which we'll talk about later, and a couple other activities over in jail now, so you're not just kind of bored over there AFKing alone. There's actually DOC and everything, but we'll talk about that again in a little bit. But the main reason for the 3.1 update was to give, obviously, boosting and racing were the two biggest features in this update, and then there was also a bunch of smaller ones and smaller bank heists and other kinds of heists added in as well. Not all of them we're going to be talking about in this video, because there are still quite a couple that people really haven't found out yet, besides a couple people, and I don't want exactly everyone to just know about some of these heists that have been found out but aren't very well known yet. So let's start off with the biggest feature for 3.1 in my opinion, and that is going to be a completely redesigned phone. Now, in 3.0, we had a phone that was not exactly the best. It had a lot of issues. The main issue being whenever someone would tweet out or someone would post something on the yellow pages, your phone would actually close, and that was very, very frustrating. There was also just a lot of features that really weren't there. So let's do a quick phone overview, looking over the new phone for JustRP 3.1, as it is obviously one of the biggest features that people have been waiting on. So we're going to quickly go through each and every app real fast. It should not take too long. So starting off, the most obvious one is going to be the phone app. Here you can see previous calls as well as actually just dial numbers here, and check your contact if you want to make a call from your contacts. Pretty straightforward here. Next is going to be the browser. Right now it's not used for too much, but I do know that different groups in the city do use it. I do know there's someone who has a clothing brand that actually uses the website browser that you can actually check on your phone. I know the PD and I believe the DOC actually use it as well, so you're able to apply to their job all on your phone, all on the server, so you don't actually have to ever get out of the server, which is pretty damn nice. The next app though is going to be the Messages app. Pretty straightforward, although it does have some really cool features to go along with it. So let's go into the Messages app real quick. Let's go into a conversation, let's say with Derek, and I'll show you guys the different features you're able to do. So first of all, of course, you can call him, you're in a conversation. Next up is down here, there's actually quite a couple things you could do that are pretty interesting. So if you hit that little share thing, you can either take a picture from your camera or from your gallery to send it. You can also share contacts, which is honestly one of my favorite features, as well as you can also share a location with someone. So for instance, if we wanted to send them a picture, we can click on our camera/gallery. We can either take a picture from a picture we have previously taken and send it to him, or we can also take a new one. We could take a little selfie or something like that. Just take a little picture, boom, and then of course we could send that to him if we want to. We can also of course share a contact with him. So say I wanted to share Bobby as a contact, and I hit share, it will send him Bobby's contact as well as all of info, and he can just hit add and add the contact without having any trouble, and it's pretty fast, which is really nice. And of course we can also share our location with him like so. Derek can see he definitely enjoys Bobby. So that's about it for the Messages app. Next up is going to be the Contacts app. Pretty straightforward, although it does have a couple cool features. So of course we can go into our contacts, see all of our contacts here. Pretty straightforward there, but we can also do a couple other things. So for instance, if we look at our first contact, Elsa here, we have a couple straightforward options. We can either call her, send her a text / start a new chat with her, or if we go over to this, we can actually edit the contact in case we made her name wrong. Say we made her name Ailsail, but it was supposed to be Ailsa. We can just go boom, hit edit, change it, and update. We can also add in a profile picture if we want to for her. So it's pretty cool, pretty straightforward though, nothing too crazy. And if you want to add a new contact, you just go to the bottom right, new contact, and then it's just pretty obvious. From there, you just fill out the name, number, and then if you want them to have a URL, pretty straightforward. If you want them to have a profile picture, I mean. So the next tab is obviously a very complicated one, the calculator. Boom, boom, 8 + 8 = 16. Yeah, not super complicated there, pretty straightforward app. The next one is actually probably going to be a little bit more in-depth, and that is going to be the settings app. Now in the settings app, you can change quite a lot about your phone. So starting off here, you can see some basic information such as your phone number. You can change your ringtone to a couple different ones. That's the current sound, but we can also change it to a rotary phone and have it sound different. Change it to iFruit, have it sound different. Nothing too crazy there, just a little bit more customizability with your phone. You can change your notifications to be different sounds, such as online, Michael, Trevor, Franklin, and that is it. I like keeping mine just on the regular online. It's the most noticeable sound. You can also change it to streamer mode, so you won't see images unless you want to, in case you're streaming and you're scared about people posting the wrong thing on images and getting obviously in trouble for it. You can turn that on, and then if we go over to the Twitter app or something, we won't be able to see any pictures unless we click to reveal them, and then of course we'll be able to see them. Pretty straightforward option. If we go forward from there, I'm actually going to turn that off. We can also change our call volume to be either higher or lower when you're getting a call. I'm just going to have mine in the middle for now. And then we have some appearance options, such as changing the language. There's also a ton of languages you can actually change through if you do speak another language and you want to make it easier on yourself. We can change from dark to light theme, oh my, if we want. I hate light themes, so we're not using that. We can also change what icons we want. We can have it the same as it is now, or we can change to these weird icons. I personally prefer the normal ones. I prefer these. The material looks a lot nicer in my opinion. Next, we can also change our wallpaper to a bunch of different stuff. There's a couple ones here, or you can actually choose your own custom wallpaper, which is pretty cool as well. We can change our frame to be a bunch of different colors. We can change it to the default, blue, gold, kawaii. Okay, not doing that one. Minimal, pink, or how I like it, white. We can also change how big our phone is in case you have a hard time reading. You can go between 70, 80, 90, and 100% if you really need to see everything. And this also lets you see pictures a bit easier. But let's go back to our normal 80%. You can also change what notifications you get, how the notifications work, and the sounds for them, and as well as the volume for your notifications. And that's pretty much it for those phone settings. Next is going to be a very interesting app called Matchmaker. It's basically just Tinder. You make your profile, as we're about to see. A lot of people haven't made theirs. You make your profile. People can either swipe left or swipe right on you, either way. And then of course you can make your profile over here. See our name Zez. I like Boost, you should too, of course. We can see a preview of our profile, and then of course we can see the different people that we have matched with. And that's about it for the Matchmaker app. Again, just basically a Tinder app, but in the city, so it's a pretty cool app altogether. And then we have Twitter. Pretty obvious, it's just good old Twitter. You're able to tweet out, of course, just a normal tweet. You can add emojis to it, or you can also add custom GIFs or images, so pretty nice overall. Next, we're going to be checking out the Marketplace app, which had replaced the previous Yellow Pages app. It's basically just a place for people to put ads and for people to respond to those ads. If we go to the Marketplace, we can see quite a couple people with different ads. Of course, we can see Night Kids, see Dynasty 8 Housing, FF Tuner Shop. We can see PDM over here, 420. There's a bunch of different people putting ads. We can see the Harmony, of course, down there. So there's quite a couple different things here, which is kind of nice being able to see all the ads for the city. And of course, if you ever want to message someone, say I wanted to buy one of these guys' cars, all you have to do is hit the message button, and then of course it will start a conversation with him. I already have a conversation with him, so I can't start another one. So we're just gonna hit cancel, or you can of course call them, or of course report it if you don't think the Marketplace ad is appropriate. And then of course you can also make your own. Pretty straightforward. A notes app where you can just, you know, add notes. Pretty straightforward as well. And one of the final apps before we actually look at one more feature is going to be the camera. So if the camera app, let's get out of our car to make it a little bit easier real quick, not get run over by a local. You can either take a regular picture, if we go up here and hit add and take it as so. You can change it to a selfie if you want to take a selfie as well. And then you can hit just enter, and it will take the picture for you and will be saved on your phone. So we can see pictures from a long time ago, and if we want to go back and send them to someone, all we got to do is click on it, hit share, copy image, and then we're easily just able to send it to anyone such as Derek if we want, or we can send it through this way. Both ways work, so pretty cool thing altogether. And the last thing about the phone that I wanted to mention is you can actually have group chats as well, which is pretty nice. I forgot to mention that in the messages app. So if we want to start a conversation with let's say Derek and let's say Bobby, we can do that. We can create a conversation label for it for the name of the group chat, and then we can of course hit send and it will start a group chat. I'll show you guys another one of them we already have. I believe we have the tuner shop one. If I can find it somewhere. There we go, tuner shop group text, and here we just have a bunch of stuff for the tuner shop, but we're all in it together, which is pretty damn nice. And I haven't really seen group chats on too many servers, so it's definitely a pretty nice feature. The next feature we're going to be talking about is boosting. Now, I have already made a video pretty much explaining it in full for the most part. If you guys want to go watch that and see how all the boosting works in depth, you're welcome to. But overall, the boosting laptops are pretty straightforward. You're able to join a queue and get boosts periodically. With those boosts, you're able to go start them, go steal a car with different parts or with different tools you buy from one of these stores here that of course you can buy stuff with the cryptocurrency you get, which again we'll go into a little bit later as well. Again, a lot has been added for 3.1, but you're able to buy certain tools, go do some boosts. Of course, you get cops on you. There's a tracker on the car you have to disable, and then take it to a location, drop it off, and you'll get a bit of that cryptocurrency, which is going to be used for imports as well as other features in the future. Again, we will talk about that very soon. And a little bit of XP as you can actually rank up through the boosting classes. As you can see here, we're at C class and start getting better cars and larger payouts as well, but they are a little bit more difficult. Again, I'm not going to go into boosting too much since I already did make a full video on it. If you want to go check that out, feel free to go do so. The next thing we're going to be talking about, I also did mention quite a bit in a video, so we're not going to look into this too in depth either, but it's going to be the racing tablet. So let's open that up and I'll explain to you guys what it is. So again, we're just going to go through this fast because I did explain this in a previous video as well, but the racing tablet basically allows for organized races all across the city. We're able to make an actual profile with ourselves and of course see stats about ourselves as well. We're able to see a leaderboard for everyone who has been competing in the both league races as well as normal races, their average position, and of course their elo. They get an elo rating through doing those league races, and the league races are actually automatically started by the server itself. They're not shown right now, but they're usually in the later times of EST, and you're able to race in them and actually get the crypto that you need for, of course, quite a lot of things, such as starting your boosts, buying different boosting tools and other various tools as well in the boosting laptop, as well as buying imported vehicles such as IRL vehicles and such. So definitely a lot of stuff to do with that crypto, but again, you're able to earn them through the races and as well as boosting, which is pretty nice. You're also able to just start races on your own. People have made a ton of tracks, so you're never going to really run out of too many tracks to go through. If you want to check the tracks out, you can also just hit track information on them, and of course you can see the starting destination by hitting that, and we can see of course where the track starts. And if we want to see the whole entire track, we can open up the laptop once again and we can hit this little button up here, and it will actually show us the track preview, so we can actually get an idea for the track. We can see it starts here, goes obviously all the way up here, goes through everything. So pretty straightforward, a very nice app, and those markers will actually disappear after 20 or 30 seconds, which makes it pretty easy to be able to just take a little bit of a look at a track, and maybe you might want to check it out. You can also see some stats here about the different tracks, which is really nice. You can see how many points it has or how many checkpoints, how many objects if it's a circuit or a sprint race, as well as how many people have driven it, the finish percentage, as well as the amount of times driven. It's definitely cool to see these stats, and it's going to be really cool to see over time how they grow and change. Like let's say director's cut, we can see 123 people have driven them, 165 times driven. It's pretty cool to come back, see these stats, and it also shows you the highest times in each racetrack, which is pretty cool if you're into that competitive sense and you like to be, you know, obviously the biggest or the best in each of the tracks. Pretty cool to do, and that's pretty much about it. Homepage just shows some pretty normal stats, but that's about it for the racing laptop. Again, I did make a video going more in depth for it, so if you want to check that out, you're welcome to go check that out as well. That's going to be about it for the racing laptops. Next, we're going to be talking about some of the MLO additions to the server with 3.1. First of all of the different stores and clothing stores were changed. Let's have a little look at them. They're just a lot nicer now. So let's have a look real quick. We can see the Ponsonbys over here, and I believe all the different Ponsonbys around town are now like this. Wait, look way cleaner, look a lot nicer. They still function as a normal clothing store, but obviously these bring a little bit more immersion, as this is more of a high-end shop, and obviously it's made to look like that. The Suburbans also look a lot different. Let's go ahead to one of those real quick. So these are the new Suburban stores around, of course giving more of that kind of just more normal clothing store, kind of more of a suburban, of course, clothing store, if you want to put it that way. Just looks honestly a lot nicer than the default. Looks a lot more higher quality, and obviously just, you know, looks a lot cleaner in general. I definitely like a lot of these changes. And of course, what's really nice about these is I believe they're made by Gabs, who does most of the maps on the server, and all of them work perfectly fine. As you can see, we're getting about 105 FPS in here, which is obviously very good. You don't really lose any FPS in any of these MLOs, which is really nice for a change, as of course they are made very cleanly. But to go on top of that, with the Suburban and the Ponsonby's changes, there also is a third kind of store, I believe, that is kind of near the south side. We'll go check that out real quick, and then go check out the couple general stores that were changed. And trust me, they look a lot nicer. Same for a lot of the Amunations. The interiors overall are a ton nicer, so let's go check the rest of them out. And this is the final clothing store, the Binko clothing shop. Looks again more of a I would say urban more clothing store. Still pretty nice, pretty clean interior. Again, no lag in here as usual, and of course all these little changing rooms back here, kind of cool as well. But just a normal clothing store. Let's go check out all the general stores real quick. I'm just gonna go through them real fast. They all look super nice as well, in my opinion, and definitely a good little change. It's something very minor that you may not notice all the time, but it definitely makes the city feel a lot more different and a lot better than just a normal GTA, you know, clothing stores and general stores and everything like that. So we can check out one of the actual first 24/7 stores over here. Again, just a little bit cleaner than the default. Just looks a little bit nicer, in my opinion. Looks a little bit more custom. Definitely just a little bit more of a better feel. Just all looks, honestly, just a lot more modern, I guess, from the old GTA. Because GTA at this point is, again, what's crazy to say, is I believe a 9-year-old game or 10-year-old game almost at this point. So it's pretty nice just to update these kind of things, make them look a little bit cleaner. And something else that looks a little cleaner now as well is the different Amunations. I believe there's 2 different styles. There is this first one, which is more of kind of like a hunter, kind of, I would say, a little bit more of a redneck gun store, which is pretty cool as well. Again, nothing too crazy here, just a normal gun store you're able to purchase weapons from if you, of course, do have a weapons license. And then there's the second style. Let's go show you guys that. And this is the second style of the Amunation. This one is obviously a lot more modern and a lot cleaner than the other one. A lot more kind of uptight and official. Definitely quite a nice one. And what's also my favorite feature about this weapon store, or this gun store, is that there's actually a really cool little gun range in the back you're able to use as well to test out any weapons. If you're, again, one of those players who's able to have a weapons license, purchase weapons, and of course test them out here. Definitely pretty cool. Now there actually is quite a few new weapons as well added in that we'll talk about later. I believe we're not actually able to purchase them since we don't have a weapons license, but that's going to be about it for most of the kind of new interiors. For regular stuff, there are some other interiors that we will talk about that were added in as well, but we'll talk about those later. Next, we're going to be talking about the addition of a couple leisure activities. So there was recently added in pool, basketball, darts, as well as arm wrestling, which are all pretty cool things that were added to the server. Let's check them out real quick. So again, initially, we're probably not going to be able to play basketball since we only have one person, but it's actually pretty cool. I've played it quite a bit in the past. You basically just join a team here, but basically you just go grab a basketball, you can shoot it, you can steal it from other players. Pretty straightforward. It's actually a really fun game just to pass some time. And then of course there's pool, which you can play at some of the various pool tables around the city. Let's go head over to one and show you guys how it works. It's actually really cool, and we actually have a pool table in the tuna shop, so when I'm working, just chilling, it's also nice to be able to play some pool. I know a lot of other shops and a lot of other places have them as well, where in their downtime they're just able to chill with some friends and have a game or two of pool. Let's go head over to one of the pool tables and I'll show you guys how it works. So if we head over here at the tuner shop, we have of course a little pool table, and if we walk over here, we're able to actually grab a little bit of a pool cue. come back over to the table. We can set it up in 2 different configurations. We're able to set it up for 8-ball pool, which is pretty cool, as well as set it up for just regular straight pool. Then of course we can break it. Now the first break is a little laggy sometimes, so actually that wasn't too bad, but it just works like normal pool. Of course, you go around, you play, try and get the balls in. If you actually get one in, which we may if we do this, it will actually tell you that you got it in again. It sometimes is a little laggy when hitting a lot of them. Well, there we got the cue ball in. If you do get the cue ball, they do have the feature where you're actually able to put the cue ball anywhere on the table, which is pretty nice as well. Like say we wanted to just put it here, get an easy shot in, we're able to do that, which is pretty nice. Again, overall the script is pretty damn clean. I'm still probably going to mess up this shot somehow. Nope, we actually got it in. But overall, a pretty cool leisure activity added in. And next is darts. We're over at Yellow Jack. We're able to actually start here. So if we hit play, boom, we're able to just hit enter or just type something here again. And then we're able to go, and we should be able to throw some darts at the dartboard. Take out our little dart. Boom, you can move around a little bit like this. And then, of course, throw it. I haven't done this in a long time, so... okay, not bad, not bad. But again, just something small, just a little leisure thing to go do and some... Ooh, bullseye! Just to go do with some friends while you're kind of just chilling and waiting for other stuff to go on. Honestly, pretty cool thing. Nothing too special here, though. But it is just something, another cool thing to just do and have fun with if you're kind of just bored doing whatever. And then there is also arm wrestling. Let's see if we can do it real quick. So we're able to join a side, I believe, by looking with our third eye. Boom. All right, and then here we go. We're able to do a little arm wrestling. To spam E basically, and whoever spams it more wins. It's not exactly the easiest thing. It's definitely take a little bit of effort. Let's see if we can win. Come on, come on, come on, come on. We almost got her, and
oh my goodness.
My, that is a workout. Whew. And that is pretty much all of the new leisure activities that were added. Some of them were here and there before, but just didn't really work as well as they do now, thankfully. And that's it. Gonna be about it for all the leisure activities that were added with 3.1, or ones that were fixed with 3.1 as well. And next up, we actually have that all of the food businesses now have little bags they give you to hopefully stop a lot of the issues where they would give you like a bunch of different items and then you'd have to grab them off the tray. You wouldn't grab all of them, and it was just honestly a pain for everyone involved. And of course, making the actual combos was a pain, but now they're able to just put them all in one bag and of course give it over. So let's actually purchase a couple of them and I'll show you how they work. So as we can see, after we purchase our food, we're actually able to pick it up here, and now it's in these little bags, so it's a lot cleaner. And of course, you're not picking up like 10 different items and having them fill up your whole inventory when you don't need them to. I think we ordered 1 or 2 other ones, so let's pick those up real quick as well, and then I'll show you how they work. All right, so we just got our other 2 bags, so let's grab those as well, or the other jailbird. There we go. Thank you very much. You take care. And there we go. So now if we go out here, we can actually open these, although we do have some food in our inventory already. But if we want to open these, we can see what's inside them. So like this one contains wither ports, onion rings, and soda. This one contains a bunch of other stuff as well. So say we open this up. As such, it will give us a bunch of different food items that were put in there, as we can now see in our inventory. So it's honestly just a lot cleaner instead of having to put all those items on there, have all the problems with them maybe poofing, or people not grabbing all of them, or having not enough inventory space. And now it's just all in one little bag. It makes everything a lot cleaner and go a lot smoother. And from what I've heard, a lot of the businesses say it's a lot easier since they can just pre-make a bunch of meals instead of having to, you know, make each individual item and grab each individual item when someone requests it. Just makes the food stores a lot easier, and that works at pretty much every single food store, such as Luchetti's, of course, when we just went to Yellow Jack, Burger Shot, and Noodle Exchange. I believe they all have their own individual bags, which are pretty cool. And speaking of food, I guess, and new places, there is also a new restaurant opened up called the Ubu Cafe, where it's a little bit different from all the other restaurant jobs. This one's completely public, so anyone is able to actually just go on, join the job, and start working there, which is really cool and really unique. And I haven't really seen that on too many other servers where there are public jobs like that, where you're able to just go and clock on to a regular job and kind of just work at a restaurant without actually having getting hired anywhere. I think it's pretty cool. Let's head over to the Ubu Cafe though real quick, and I'll show you guys how it works, and I'll let you guys check it out a little bit. Alrighty, let's quickly check out the Ubu Cafe. Again, it's a publicly owned restaurant, so anyone can come and work here, which is very unique. So for instance, if we wanted to start working here, I believe we can just go back to the kitchen, and then of course I believe we're able to just make food here Pretty straightforward. We do have to be hired on as employee, which we can just do ourselves, but we're able to actually just create food here and everything. I'm not going to hire myself on because it will mess up, I think, of my tuner shop job, so we're not going to hire ourselves. But basically you're able to just hire yourself here, work here, make some food, sell it to people, and of course it's a really chill little spot. This MLO is also, I believe, made by Gabs, and it's very clean, very beautiful, honestly. Nice little fireplace to chill with some friends over here. I believe there's like some little bathrooms over here, nothing too crazy. Upstairs there's also a really nice area as well for just kind of chilling out with some friends. This is honestly more of a kind of hangout, relax spot, and of course people do work here every once in a while. The time I'm on the server recording this video is very early, so there's not a ton of people on. There's only 81 people, so it's pretty quiet server time. That's why there's probably no one working here right now, but overall it's a pretty nice little place to be able to go hang out, talk with some friends, maybe, you know, see some cats here every now and then. And of course, you know, if you want to, you can start working here as a new player without even having to get a job, and just, you know, do the RP and make a little money and have a little fun. Definitely something cool and unique that was new to the server. MLO, not so unique, of course. I've seen it on a bunch, but of course the actual public job is something I haven't really seen on too many other servers before. Now, since we're already going through some of the new custom buildings that were added, let's go through a couple more. The next one is going to be Nate's BMX shop. Nate is the player on the server who's been doing the BMX stuff for a long time, and he finally got given a little bit of a shop over here, which is pretty cool. There's a little, of course, ramp in the back for your BMX to test them out and just have some fun with them. And then inside the store, if we go inside here, it has as well a pretty cool interior. And obviously Nate's not here right now because it's pretty early in the day, but he's able to sell custom BMX bikes that are fully custom, look really cool. We actually own one of them. Let me show you that real quick. So if we go over here and we pull this out, this is our little custom bike we bought from him. It has a little pegs on the back. I think we can get them on the front as well, if I remember correctly. I think you can do some really cool tricks of this, although I'm not obviously knowledgeable enough to actually do any cool tricks. Nate also does like really cool BMX lessons. He does a lot on the server, so I'm definitely glad to see him get a little bike shop of his own. He definitely deserves it. But overall, just some pretty cool things. There's a bunch of different kinds of BMXs, but this is just the one that I bought. And you can get them looking really cool if you want to, and you want to put in the time to actually customize it. I haven't really done too much of mine yet because I'm not exactly the best bicyclist around. But that's gonna be about it for the Super Saiyan Cycle shop, which again is Nate's little BMX shop that sells those custom BMXs that are actually pretty cool to go mess around with a little bit. There is also a new record label on the server called Triad Records. Let's go check that out real quick. They've actually been hosting a lot of events over there, and they've been going pretty well, so let's go take a look at that real quick as well. So this is the new Triad Records store. I believe this is also one of the MLOs from Gabs, which again, he makes some pretty amazing stuff. Of course, we have the big area over here. They've done a couple parties and just kind of like little performances up here, which has been really cool as well. Of course, there are some really talented people on the server. I think one of them that recently performed was Brody James. He has some really nice music. I'll actually put some of his music in the background right now because why not? He has some really amazing music, though. I definitely recommend checking him out. It's Brody James, I believe, on SoundCloud. He makes some really cool stuff. There's also a bunch of other artists, but overall, it's just a really cool little area to kind of hang out, to do some parties every once in a while, do some events, and kind of do whatever. The whole building is actually quite large. That's a bathroom. But if we go upstairs, there's like a little recording studio where I know they do a lot of the interviews for people that are looking to become part of the record label. Let's head up there real quick.
11, I always double down when I hit 21. I'm running for the wages. Me and Nate got back from running aces.
All you really need to know.
So over at the second story, we now have this little recording studio where this is where they do a lot of the tests if they're looking to get a new person singing or a new person into, of course, the Triad Records label. They'll have them come here, show them a couple of their songs, and of course discuss and work with different artists. Pretty cool area. There's also a big meeting room in here where I know they've done multiple meetings just going over stuff about the record label. Overall, just a pretty cool MLO, but we're not going to go through every single thing about it. I'm just going to be pretty much about it. They have been producing some pretty cool stuff though, so definitely recommend checking them out every now and then. Alrighty, so I think that's going to be about it though for some of the, or most of the major features that were added in 3.1 and since 3.1, but let's quickly go over a couple last features that are a little bit harder to show you guys, but I can definitely explain them. So first of all, there's a new system for PD and EMS to be able to place props, which is very useful. They can place stuff such as roadblocks, like little gates, little signs, and a bunch more just to help out with their RP setting up different scenes, and or, you know, if they have to block off a certain area for a crime scene or something like that, they can now do it a whole lot easier. There are actually 10 new drugs that were added for the MD to be able to further facilitate more in-depth medical RP, which was also very, very cool. Now one of the biggest features honestly is going to be the DOC that we can see over here. It's now fully functional. They have a ton of people working in DOC now. I believe there's like a bunch of lifers as well who spend all their time there, which is also really cool to interact with whenever you do go to prison. It's definitely more of a cool environment. I believe there's other stuff to do now in prison, such as different jobs and different tasks you're able to do, but now there's actually DOC guards that will actually, we can actually see a couple walking in over there if you see right over by the gate. But there are now quite a couple DOC guards as well as lifers to all be in there to help you RP. So if you actually go to jail, you actually get some RP out of it and you're not just AFKing there bored. And they do a lot of cool stuff there, so it's actually a pretty fun time if you're arrested, and it actually makes the time go by a lot faster, and it's actually, in my opinion, quite fun. There was a couple other smaller things added in, such as the drift school got updated, so now there's drift chips. So if you have just a normal car, you're actually able to turn it into a drift car over at the drift school, which is also very nice if you want to head over there, have some fun, and of course drift your own car, and you know, have some fun with it overall, and maybe have a couple friends join in as well. And that's pretty much it. There were also some minor things, such as a bunch of new custom weapons. There was a bunch of new clothing added, but nothing too major that's worth mentioning in this video. But that's pretty much all the major things that were added for 3.1. There were a couple heists added in as well, and a couple other criminal activities that I'll probably not mention just because they are, of course, going to be meted, so we're going to leave those for now. Maybe you guys will see them in a future video. I also do want to make some more videos on JustRP, so let me know in the comment section below if you guys have any ideas for what you'd want to see on the server, as we really haven't made too many videos on it recently. But again, I think that's going to be about it for this video. If you guys did enjoy, as always, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.